Hello, hello. Happy Labor Day, everybody. I am so excited to be here with you today. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your day on Labor Day to join me in this important conversation about monetizing in the media. So, before we get into all the great things about monetization, I want to first take some time to introduce myself. I am Lachelle Atkins, also known as America's Supermom. I'm the mother of 15 children, and I am a vitality coach to help you navigate through the chaos and overwhelm of everyday life and transform that into clarity and confidence with a smile. So I have a method for that, a way that I teach people from all the lessons that I learned of overcoming 13 years of depression and 3 hospitalizations. So I'm excited to be here to talk about what monetization means and how we can use it for our benefit when it comes to building our brand. Right. So I am going to be joined momentarily by Zondra Evans. And I just want to take a trip down memory lane. Just this whole journey for me, it is somewhat surreal because I never really thought of myself as a TV producer. I've always been passionate about my message. Overcoming 13 years of depression, I really didn't know what that meant, how long it was until I started being a part of telling my story. And I started out telling my story in book collaborations. So I had people who heard about me. We got on, we had conversations, and they were just really like in awe about how did you do it? What is your morning routine? How do you show up? And it just seems like everything is so calm. You have it all together. You're organized. And I'm like, Lord, I tell you, God knows how to give you grace and um, help people focus on what's really important. Because at the end of the day, as I'm filming now, I have all kinds of papers around me, right on my desk. It's not the most pristine, organized place, but I have a way of being able to prioritize what's the most important thing in this moment. And so, because of that, it has really helped me to show up in ways that, I just wouldn't even imagine, but it's all through the power of God. So I started out where I was sharing my story in these book collaborations. And so as of now, I'm currently in 6 books. And only one of those is my own personal book. And that really is like a guided journal. But I started out just really kind of taking pieces of my story, and talking about it. There's one that I did optimize a positive mindset, I think is one of them. And it's more like a reference book. It was really a deep dive into behavior and thinking patterns that one of the authors did. And so I was pretty much like a case study for that one. But that really got me started with my story. So along that journey, I was asked during the pandemic because I was everywhere, y'all, trying to share my knowledge and hope to other people who felt like they had a story, they wanted to share it with the world. I started out with just on any platform I can get on Facebook. I was doing Zoom calls, master classes, you name it. Whenever I had an audience, I was speaking. So one of the places that I spoke on was this Survive and Thrive Summit. And so I had this plan to do this little video for y'all so y'all can kind of take a trip down memory lane with me. But I was on Clubhouse this morning, y'all, so time just got away from me. But I was on this summit, and Chelsea had organized this, and she and I we collaborated on this project, and we still are collaborators. We're also brand ambassadors for the metaverse, so that's another thing. But anyway, she had this summit, and Sharon Lecter and Bill Walsh were the headliners. They were the keynote speakers. And so on that summit, I was one of the speakers with Zondra Evans. And so Zondra was a speaker. We had like, I don't know, 30 speakers. And with those 30 speakers, it was like you get your recording, and then the day of the summit, or I think it might have been 2 days, the recordings are just playing. And so you can go and listen to other people's recordings, or before your time of recording, you could kind of stick around and see other people, right? So I just so happened to be going back to get my footage and just kind of look over it, see how I did. And I heard Zondra. And I was like, oh my goodness, she has really got it together with this TV network. And so I had never heard of her before. And so I reached out to her, and I asked her to be a guest on my podcast. And so she said, sure. So some months later, we finally got together. And so she was a guest on the podcast. So we're talking on the podcast, and I'm just curious, just asking questions. How did you get started? What's your story? Never really knew it. And she just was so inspirational for me. She had left corporate, she had got this network, and she really wasn't sure what she was going to do with it, but she knew that it was something that God had told her to do. And so I just was really into it. And I was just thinking, oh my goodness, this is really good. I really want to be connected to her because I really think that she is going places. And I'm going to need somebody like her as a mentor and a guide to help me with where I want to go. Right. So I have a marketing degree and background, but hey, managing kids and being married and everything else in the community, that was just a lot to go through. And so I thought she would be the ideal person to be a mentor to help me. So I talked to her further about, what's all this network thing about. And at that time, she had an incubator. And so she talked about how they were going to be training the producers, because I'm like, look, I don't know anything about production. I have just been on TV. I was on, by the time I had met her, I'd been on Rachel Ray's show. I had been on the Atlanta news a couple times, but it was all like show up for the camera, no editing, none of that. And so she walked us through this process. So we had our own incubator, and we graduated, and now we are at this juncture. So she has joined me. And so I am going to bring her on because we can kind of go over the rest of this journey together. So without further ado, let me introduce the woman of the hour, Zondra Evans.
Hey, Michelle, I'm so glad to be here.
I am so excited. Okay, so I was just telling them how we got together, through the Survive and Thrive Summit with Chelsea Colley
Yeah,
and Sharon Lecter and Bill Walsh being the keynote.
yeah.
So, and how I reached out to you to be a podcast guest. And look, you had me at the podcast guest. I mean, she closed me and everything before we even got off the call. Okay.
I know that's right. I
So I'm
know that's right, Michelle. I have adored you from day one. When I met you, I was like, this woman is a rock star. Can do anything. Could just you're all that. So thank you
oh,
for having me today. This is fun.
well, I am so excited because, now this journey, not just being a producer, and then a few months ago, I was in a training because now we do a monthly Why Streaming Matters, and I was named to be one of the hosts for that platform. And then just last week, there's another rung, so to speak, that I could put on my ladder. So, I'm so excited to talk about it. So, we're talking about having a micro network. So, we have some guests that are going to be joining us off camera after we get done with our broadcast, but because they are interested, they are excited about what this micro network is all about. So, I am going to yield the mic to you for everybody to kind of have a little background about Zondra TV, because people still, they're like, they see that you're rising up with a lot of these things that you're collaborating with different platforms. You're at masquerade balls, and you're speaking different places with different conferences. I mean, hey, every week it seems like a new show is dropping. So I'm excited. So, I'm gonna let you tell the people what Zondra TV is about and your vision where we're headed.
I tell you what, Lachelle, you're right. A new show is dropping. I am speaking on stages. I'm everywhere. Um, but I think that a lot of times I like to level the playing field because I think that people, just believe that, oh, hey, I wanted TV. I wanted to be on TV. This is what I wanted to do. This was my plan. It was so not my plan. So I want to be clear on that, and that I had made up in my mind. I'm a corporate vet, so I was for 40 years of my life I spent in corporate America, and so I really thought, I'm gonna go on the sun gonna go down, and I'm gonna leave corporate America, and that's it. And maybe I'll do a couple of things on what I would call at that time it wasn't called a bucket list, but I was like, I'll do a couple of things I want to do. I want to sell a couple of best-selling books and become a bestseller, and I want to do some motivational, inspirational speaking on stages in front of thousands. I always say I ain't gonna be afraid. Put me on the stage with thousands, and I'll show you what I can do. I love being able to motivate and encourage people. So I never saw myself being on TV, but it happened, and I think a lot of times, Lachelle, we will pass up an opportunity because we don't know how to do it. And so 7 years ago, I was offered an opportunity, and the way it came was crazy. And by the way, I didn't leave corporate America. They said, okay, we're gonna give you this package and we're gonna ask you to leave. Well, they were closing down the division I was in. And I was like one of the first, and I was skipping the halls. So I was like, I'm good. I got an exit strategy. So here's the thing: those of you that are listening, exit strategy is not just for somebody with a business. Exit strategy is for you. No matter where you work, no matter what you do, you need an exit strategy because you don't know who's going to pull the trigger. Is it going to be you or them? Well, they pulled the trigger on me, y'all. And I said, so I was happy about it because I had an exit strategy. So make sure you have one of those in your arsenal. Everybody needs an exit strategy. But nonetheless, somebody in Chicago told somebody in Atlanta that I'd make a great talk show host. And they called me up and they have one channel left to sell on Roku. And I promise you, I'm a baby boomer, didn't know nothing. And I said, okay, well, here we go. So I bought the channel. I'm not going to go through the whole story. At the end of the day, we are north of 60 producers that produce content on this network, not just a channel. We're a network now. And we are now on live TV on Roku. We're on live TV. You can go to beonztv.com and see live TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we are in a consortium, for lack of a better term, of 100 other channels. And so, I didn't call for this, but it's a great experience. It's been challenging. It still continues to be challenging. But I believe that a blue rose moment happens, throughout your life. And this was one of my blue rose moments. I didn't know how to be on TV. I didn't know anything about streaming. And when I bought the channel, I was like, now, how do I get it on? What do I do? I was like, what do you do? And I was like, I don't even know what to do with it. So I had to figure, you got to buy a Roku device. Oh, then you'll be able to see yourself. So it was just a long story, of learning this landscape. But I was willing to access my blue rose moment, which is something that's unconventional. It's not mainstream. Everybody's not doing it. And you know what? I could have been discouraged early on in life when I was doing this because people would be smiling at me like this, but their eyes were saying, you should go get a job because everybody's not going to be watching TV on their phone. And I was passionate about it. I believed it. And guess what? Today, everybody's watching TV on their phone, on their laptop, on their tablet, and on TV. So that's kind of how it all got started. And we have just blossomed. So I'm excited, Lachelle.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about, your passion because I think, a lot of people, they want to be in business and they talk about having a team or they talk about being around like-minded people,
Yeah.
but you have a way of really uh passing on that energy to other people, right? Like you said, the whole thing about people not agreeing that you can watch TV uh in on your phone and things like that. But I mean, to me it's like, hey, I'm with you. Where are we going next? You got me on Clubhouse, you got me doing things that I normally would not have been doing because of your leadership. So what do you think is something that you would advise people that they need to have people do that? Because not everybody's going to follow. They don't really always see the vision, or they may not have the capability. But for people who realize that they're an influencer, what do you feel that they need to be mindful of to make sure that they can continue to keep that momentum to the right people in their tribe?
That's so good, Lachelle. Because you know what, I was earlier listening to a message. I believe that it has to do with the anointing. That you
Mm,
could be anointed to do something, and when you're anointed and appointed, it makes a difference. I also believe that in order to keep your passion, you really have to know who you are and why you're here. And so, a lot of people are running around trying to be an imposter, trying to be somebody. I'm gonna be like her. I'm gonna do this like her. I'm gonna be that. No, no, no. Just show up and serve the world, the authentic you, for real. And I mean the authentic you. And know that you are here to lead and to actually be a servant leader first, because I don't
mhm,
think that you can lead well unless you know how to serve. And so
mm,
I've served a long time in my life, and I've done that humbly, and I've done that really under the anointing. And so, in order to lead effectively and to inspire and encourage people, I think you have to be walking absolutely in your divine purpose, not in what you think just makes money. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, you know, the first few years I wasn't making a dime, and still it's a struggle, because as industry changes, you have to then invest more money. So it's not
mhm.
about the money, it's about the mission.
I love that. And we do have some people that are in the comments, and I want to thank you guys for joining us and commenting. Keep those comments coming. But I'm not the best multitasker because I go over there in the comments and I'm lost with that. So, we will address those later on. But I love what you said about really knowing your purpose and your anointing. I think that's so important because you can't get somebody else's blessing. I tell this to my kids because they always try to make sure, well, she got, this for her birthday and I didn't get that, and I'm like, look, everybody doesn't get the same blessing,
That's
so
right.
you just got to kind of understand that. But, you know, talk to us about how you grow and scale and what happens along the way, because we have this idea. I experienced in this in my own home. I'm ready to move ahead and not everybody's ready. Some people just don't understand. It's not like, we get everybody on the same page and then we're ready to jump and then people are falling off. So talk to us about that whole process, what that's like.
I can tell you this. So everybody ain't gonna see the vision. So don't get your feelings hurt, because my early days, my feelings. I'm tough, but my feelings were hurt as people came in, dropped off, came, did this, do that, whatever. But here's the thing about scaling and growing a company, and I don't know that I have it all right. So that's the thing. I'm a real person. I don't know that I have it all right, but one of the things that I believe, if you really want to scale and grow your business, there are a couple of things that have to happen. Keep your overhead low. So what
Mhm,
I mean by that is I have a small, tight team, and I still have a small, tight team, because I feel like that's one way to be able to scale and grow, because you can control financially what you're putting out every month in reference to your team. But you got to know what you can't live without either, and what you're not good at. So I know that I am not good behind the camera, but I'm pretty doggone good in front of the camera. So you put me in front of the camera and I can talk to anybody. But I know that I'm not that. So I have to have the best of the best behind the camera and to do my editing. So I'm going to pay for that. I know that graphics are important. So I'm pay for that. So there are things
mhm,
that you have to pay for as an entrepreneur. Now, listen, let me tell you this, and let me be clear. It is not because I am on TV, but given where we are in the business ecosystem today, it
mhm,
is not okay for you not to have a global approach to your business. So,
Mhm.
what I mean by that is marketing and advertisement is not an option, it is a requirement. I
Mhm.
still spend marketing and advertisement dollars. I am still running commercials for my own business. I have to do exactly what I'm telling you to do, or I won't grow and scale. So, the growth and scale that you've seen is the consistency of delivery, making sure that I got marketing advertisement, making sure that I keep it tight and right for my resources, because you can't have a ton. We want to grow so exponentially. No, keep it tight and right for your resources, and make sure that you've got an international approach to your business. And so when I say that, you need to be global. What better way than on this TV? This TV network, when we talk about streaming, TV's changed altogether. So it is
Mhm.
a global landscape. You got to have a global landscape to your business. You should have a commercial running on TV as we speak by demographic. Why aren't you doing that?
Love that. And, so many things that you're talking that are so true about commercials, about marketing. I tell everybody, don't get to thinking that you're McDonald's, right? I mean, you have the have a great product, but
Yeah.
McDonald's has been around for years. They have promoted to generations, right? So they are a household name just because of how much marketing that they have already done. And so we get a good product and we're like, oh, everybody knows who I am. I don't really have to have a commercial and all these other things, but that's how it's done, right? It's getting out there and getting your
Yeah.
brand in front of the camera. So, talk to us about this micro network, and another thing is like
Excited.
how you're growing because, now as a producer, I have the ability to have my own embed link. So, if you go to my website, there's Zondra TV over in the corner on the front page of my website, and you have other producers that have that capability. So, where do you see yourself going in 2024? Let's just stick with, within the next year.
Well, I want to talk about two things, Lachelle. The micro network for sure. I'm gonna save the best for last. So I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. But you were talking about the having Zondra TV embedded on your website. Let me tell you this is how I ran my business. I always think about others. So for me, I'll get something out of it potentially, but it's not about whether I get something out of it. I'm always thinking about like my producers.
Mhm.
I'm literally always thinking, well, if I could embed live TV on their website, it's going to improve the dwell time of their visitors on their website to know that I'm a TV producer and there's TV running on my website. It makes people, one, yep, listen to the TV, but it also makes people start searching your website. What else is on this website that I don't know about? So the reason why we did it is to increase dwell time for all of my producers. If I got 60 producers, if I can increase the dwell time of the visitors to your website, that means that you have a greater probability of doing business with them. So that's the reason why we did it. Now, will we get something out of it? Yeah, we got 60 people that Zondra TV is running on their website 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's a great thing for us, and we get to count that into our view counts, right? So yeah, it's a great thing for both. It's a win-win. But I never go into anything without saying it's just a win for me. No, that's not going to work.
Mhm.
The second thing that we're looking at is an ad agency. And so if anybody's listening to this and you know of a really good ad agency, I've been doing this for the last 6.5 years. And I was like, you know what? My producers struggle with selling advertisement around their content. Well, if that be the truth, then I need to hire an ad agency. But I'm not hiring the ad agency so I make the money. I'm hiring the ad agency so that I can pay out each of the producers for their content. Because if it wasn't for their content, I wouldn't be in business. And so always thinking about how can I help them? How can I help them to be in a better financial situation? That's what leaders do. We look out for the people, not just for ourselves. So I'm in the process of doing that. That's 2024. And then the third thing is this micro network. Because to me, we continue to just be slow at adopting and lackadaisical about this. And I have been out here on a personal crusade doing why streaming matters for the last 2.5 years. It'll be 3 years next week, which is crazy. I mean, not next week, next year. It'll be 3 years I've been on the battlefield, talking about why streaming matters. I think people think that I do that because then, well, if you're talking about why streaming matters, it's because you are on TV. No, why streaming matters is because you need a digital footprint. So this micro network is really designed. I'm going to tell you it's designed for. It's designed for podcasters. And I'm going to tell you why. 98% of podcasters don't have any sponsors or commercial ads around their content. They really think, it's all about, and there's nothing wrong with a podcast. So let me tell you, I think it's awesome. I have what I call an audio cast. I take my TV shows, strip the audio, and put it out on the audio cast. That's really what a podcast is. It's not audio and video, it's audio. Mm-hmm. But you oftentimes are doing an audio video and you're taking the video and you're putting it on the shelf. And I'm like, why would you do that? Repurpose your content. So take your audio and video podcast and distribute that on TV and get you a sponsor. Now your sponsor, you can actually be talking about, you can see it on TV 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you also are on my audio cast. So now that's 2 minutes in one. You do one thing and you distribute it in 2 different places. Everybody that has a podcast needs to be on a micro network. And what's wonderful about a micro network is this. Yes, it is on Roku, but I want to talk to you about how it really works. So let's take Lachelle as an example. Lachelle, really focuses on, she big families, real life without excuses. I'm going to call it real life TV. She would name her micro channel Real Life TV. She would look for other people that are like her, that nothing stops them. It doesn't have to be that you got 15 children. It could just be like nothing stops me and I'm going forth, right? Those are people that are influencers that would be a part of her network. Okay, for being a part of that network, everybody in the micro network promotes their micro network. So you got 12 other people now promoting for you to be seen on TV. It don't get better than that. So to me, this micro network is the best thing since sliced bread. And where are you going to be able to pay $3.95 or $4.95 a month to be a part of a team of people that are all promoting? Come and see our network. Come to our micro network. Now you're a really big influencer. It is something about being on TV. Different from a podcast, you become a celebrity overnight. So now, I'm telling you now, get your micro network.
I love that. Now, for the people who are like, I don't know about my content, I just been doing like Facebook or LinkedIn Lives or YouTube, that's the content I have. What would you say to them?
I think it's prime for micro network. It's prime for micro network. And listen, y'all got to stop giving your content away. I mean, it ain't wrong with giving some away. I'm giving away content today. I'm telling y'all all about, Zondra TV. I'm telling you about how to create your digital footprint, and you got to have a digital real estate plan. Just like you want to be an investor in real estate, you got to invest in digital. Yes, I do. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying, you're putting it out there, and how many subscribers you got? 10, 50. I mean, I use YouTube too. But I use it appropriately. I use it for shorts and reels, not to give my entire content away. Come check it out on Zondra TV and see all the content, not just my content, but 60 other amazing women and men that have created good content, either on Zoom, StreamYard, they're on YouTube, they have their podcasts, and they've been doing an audio and video and putting the video on the shelf. Stop playing and put it on TV.
I love that. And I think that is so true because, that's the part of it being real, right? The whole thing is that, you have a message and you can get better over time. I mean, it's like you start where you are, use what you got. And then over time, as you build and nurture that audience where you're getting the opportunity to get sponsors that can really support your growth. So many people just want to have a podcast, want to share a message, but then, you need a mic, You need all these different things that you want to grow into, but it's all coming out of pocket, or, you doing whatever you can to get started. And this way you have the opportunity to get sponsors. So talk to us about, the actual audience of Zondra TV, for those that are saying, well, what kind of sponsor am I going to be able to get? Because, how many viewers is it, that type of thing.
Okay, well, you know what? This is always an age-old question. So, you know, it's kind of hard with this right here and your tablet and your laptop to really know who your audience is. But here's my core belief, and the reason why I say that is because my granddaddy could be looking at my phone on Zondra TV, and it's my phone. So, is it really a woman or a man? But I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that probably 90% of the viewers are women entrepreneurs, women that are aspire to be an entrepreneur. I think that is really who is watching. This is really no really good way to tell, but I do that measurement because I look at my mailing list and it's 90% women. So then I go, I guess that's probably who watching. So, it's probably 90% women in business. And then our reach is, 350 million plus. That's because we're on duplicative Roku, Amazon, and Apple. There's not a lot of people with a network that's on multiple Roku, multiple Amazon, multiple Apple. Then we're on Google Play and we're on Connect to Your City. And we're in all of these different places. So I always just say, okay, I use the same thing that Roku uses. Go out there and look at what they say. They talk about the number of users. We have about 350 plus million users and devices that have the opportunity to watch us. I will throw out this number just because I'm gonna throw it out. 2 months ago, we did 20 million between all of the 105 channels that we are on, and we are also on Comcast Cable regionally, and their last numbers were well over 3 million a month. So that's kind of what it is. But here's the thing: I want to talk about that too, because y'all understand that being on TV is exposure marketing. There's a difference between exposure and conversion. And somehow we have believed just because I could boost a post and X amount of people see me, I continue to ask the age old question, but how many people bought from you? And it's a goose egg. It's a goose egg, y'all. Why? Because it is exposure marketing, it's not conversion. The stats say that people need to hear you 20 to 25 times before they even consider buying something from you. So what does that mean? That means you got to be on social, you got to be on TV, you got to be interviewed on podcasts. I'm still interviewed on podcasts, radio, and TV. Why do I do it? Because their audience is important and they'll hear me. And the more people hear me, the more they know that it's legit.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this micro network, people having the opportunity to eliminate the excuses. That's what I say. Because we think, oh, well, I don't know if I'm quite ready, what I'm going to talk about or whatever. But there's so many different ways that you can monetize within that, from commercials to
Yeah,
sponsorships to
for sure.
even collaborating with other producers and other show hosts.
Yeah.
There's just so many ways that you can really allow that platform to leverage it to help to move you further.
Yeah.
So I guess go ahead.
I just want to throw this in too. One of the things that I believe in is adoption. And I know this sounds crazy, but I believe in adoption. And so when my producers come on board, they get to adopt our success. And so where else can you go on a streaming platform and adopt being multiple award winning network and show? You get to say your show is part of the multiple international award winning network. And so you get to adopt what we have. You get to adopt our numbers. Off the bat, you can say, 350 million. Whatever we have, you have. And so that to me is the win win in it all. It's not just for me, it's for the people. So,
I love that. And, it's so true about the family that has been created. I guess the last question is, how you're able to nurture the mindset of collaboration, because when I say Zondra TV Network, people just think ABC, NBC, and I'm like, look, we're just getting started. We are growing. You know what I mean? But because a lot of people think, TV, it's like, okay, we're Oprah. You know what I mean? And so the collaboration with people coming together to help build the brand, how were you successful in doing that? What are just a couple tips?
Here's one of the things, people like to say, oh, she the Oprah of Texas. And I'm like, not. I'm Zondra.
Hmm.
I think that if we are stuck in our mind from 25 to 30 years ago, ABC, NBC, CBS, and you haven't looked at streaming lately, guess where they are? They're
Hmm.
on streaming. And the reason why they're on streaming is because this is how everybody is ingesting information. So if if I'm here to level the playing field for you so that you too can be on TV like NBC, ABC, CBS, right?
Hmm.
It's your choice. It's your opportunity to decide to say yes to your blue rose moment. Period. That's the end of the discussion. And I've collaborated. My brand, I don't even want to call it collaboration. I'm calling it brand extension because you don't, partnership and collaboration ain't with everybody, but brand extension means a lot. So I got 60 producers that I've extended my brand to, and they've extended their brand to me. I have other partners like Leadership Global and Her Idea Collective that I've extended my brand to, and they've extended their brand to me. So it gives me a landscape. Leadership Global alone is over 10,000 women. So you learn how to rise by brand extension, and that's really what we've done. I think the veil is really getting ready to be ripped off, though, because we are getting ready to launch something that is going to be a daily show on the nines that people are going to be coming from all across the world. And I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the Global Bible Revival. We will be reading the Bible on Zondra TV Network from cover to cover in 1 year together in a very unique and different way. So tune in on the nines.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Zandra, for being here. I'm so excited, and I just think it's an honor to be have the opportunity to have a micro network. And so I'm excited that we have some guests that are here with us. We're gonna now close this broadcast, but we're gonna have some questions, and I have put it in the chat. If you would like to join us with these questions off camera, feel free to click on the link because that's just about TV. You got to do things where it's a surprise, right? We got to have some things to surprise you with new shows that will be revealed later on. So, again, Sandra, thank you so much. And I am so excited for the growth and just the trust that you have given me to be able to extend my brand while also being attached to your brand as I continue to grow in all that I'm doing in the world.
Oh, thank you, Lachelle. I love you being a producer on the Zondra TV Network. You're running the first crew in season 1, and now we're in season 6, getting ready to start season 7 soon of the Academy, where I teach people how to do that. So thank you for trusting us.
Awesome. Well, we
Yeah.
want to thank you guys so much for watching and tune in. Stay tuned to some of these new things that are happening with Zondra TV Network and how you can find affordable ways to show up with your business that can help you move you forward and find ways to monetize. So we want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. And remember to keep an eye out on us because we're moving quick. Bye, everybody.